Welcome to the podcast for your spiritual growth. Evolve,
align,
and embrace. I'm Alex.
And I am Sophia.
Let's start.
Hey, so nice to have you here. In this podcast, you will learn about the Muladhara Chakra, the root chakra. Sophia and I share what we know about its effects on our life. We talk about how we got affected by an unbalanced or a balanced Muladhara Chakra. We share our tools about how we can affect it in a positive way. And now, let's start.
Nice. Yeah, so today's podcast, we wanted to talk about the first chakra, the Muladhara Chakra. The first chakra, the Muladhara Chakra, is the lowest, and it's the one that develops the first, like when you're still in the womb, right? So that is the foundation of your being, and that has a lot. If you're imbalanced in that one, I feel like it has a lot of impact on other chakras and how you are in a bigger picture in this world, right?
So yeah, because it's the base. And if the base isn't stable, if the base isn't there, how can something grow out of it?
Exactly.
If the beetroot isn't deep enough, how can it become a really nice beetroot? Beetroot? Red beetroot.
Beetroot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For the record, I don't know if we mentioned that last time. We are both German. So we are speaking in English because we know that it's more accessible to most of the listeners. But we might not speak perfect English at all times, which, just to let you know.
Yeah. I think Sophia is a little bit more fluent in it since she's living in New Orleans.
Yes.
And is very well connected to English, native speaking English speaking people. And I love it. I love that she lives there. I love there's something inside of me that's super fascinated by the American culture and how you guys are. And so I'm super happy to embrace the fact that we can now talk in English together.
Yes.
Yeah, so much fun.
It is. I love speaking in English. I love the language too.
Yeah.
Cheers. So, do you want to maybe start with like the basics of what the chakra is?
We can tell you guys some facts that are known about the Muladhara, the chakra, the root chakra, such as its color red. And it's in our body. It's one of thousands of chakras in our body, which is a wheel of energy that turns inward and outward of our body to exchange our energy, the body's energy, with the surrounding around us, the environment's energy. And it connects us to people, to the environment, to ourselves. And the first chakra is there with its element earth, of course. Earth, the beginning, the physical. It's there to connect us to our basic needs. So to make sure our body is okay. It's there to be, it stands for the material, the physical world. So such as for us, our body's the bones. And health. We want to make sure to feed the first chakra with good food, with enough water, and with also emotionally feeling safe and healthy in our bodies, plus in the connection to other people, like in the family or in a group of people. Yeah, that's kind of what it's there for. You want to add something to that?
I would add, that it's because it's at the base of the spine, right? It's really down there where when we are, and I think this is so interesting talking about, like, this is the base, as you said, when we develop as human beings, and that's the first chakra that is really active in the beginning of our lifetime. So when we are born until like 1 year, I think, that's the major chakra that is working for us, basically. Or and as you said, like, it's about the basic needs, about being fed, about being safe,
About surviving.
Yeah, it's about the surviving stage of life where we have to depend on somebody else in order to live, right? So and that's why it's also so much connected to now let me put that different, like when you are not nourished enough in that time frame from 0 to 1 year, then that's how your Muladhara chakra is easily out of balance. And that, like, you can't really do anything about that. The only thing you can do is use tools to try to get it back aligned, right? But often we don't know because we don't have memories of those times. So it can be often hard to really understand why we are so insecure, because it has a lot to do with insecurity, or right, when it's out of balance, when it's inverted, for example, why we are so scared or insecure, or have are just not sure of ourselves, or can't stand to who we are, like certain things like that. So it's sometimes, I think, really tricky to understand where it's coming from, and what we just could, like, I just want to say, it's not, I think it's often we don't have to know where it's coming from, because we will never really find out, but to work with what we have, right? And I'm just gonna give an example of myself, of how an imbalance of a root chakra can look like, because I was with my family. I was born into a broken marriage. So my parents got divorced very soon after I was born. So I never really saw them together, but of course they were both my parents, right? But I saw them split up, and that really broke something in me, and that broke also my sense of security, because I felt like I'm in between two worlds, and I didn't feel like I had a safe home to come to. And I didn't realize that back then, of course, but as I evolved and as I stepped into the world by myself, I noticed that I was just very insecure in who I was, and it was very hard for me to take on projects, because I was always afraid, what would people think of me, or what would I don't know, would I still be liked, because I was always trying to get that security from somebody else, right? I was hoping to
the outside world.
Exactly. I was trying to fill up this that what was missing,
this hole in your root chakra that wasn't really nourished when you were in your first year of life.
Yeah. So I was always trying to fill that up with other people's presence, even, just, right, or acceptance. And that led me to a lot of different problems, of course, because I wasn't really I wasn't engaging in my own power, and I wasn't drawing from my own power, and always let other people lead my way.
Yeah, you were giving your power away, and you were dependent on other people nourishing you so you would feel safe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just, when I started reading or learning about the chakras, I noticed a lot of out of balance symptoms that I could relate to. So, for example, there's physical constipation, hemorrhoids, then problems with weight. So I had problems with binge eating, and just a very weird relationship to food. And these are all symptoms of being out of balance in your root chakra, plus then the psychological symptoms include fear, anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety in my life. Then being selfish, or being like, oh, this is mine, I can't give that away, like, because you are trying to hold on to everything that you have because you're so afraid that somebody's going to take it from you, because that's the only thing you think you have, right? And being pessimistic.
Yeah.
Pessimistic.
Pessimistic is German.
That's German, yeah. So it's like this feeling of there's not enough, right? Feeling of I need to make sure I have enough, but I have to take everything because I will never, it's the feeling of you will never have enough because there's never enough. So it's this negative way of thinking that there's lack.
Or you're overprotective about what you have. You don't want to give it away. You're super scared of somebody else taking it away, like your space or your stuff, or your boyfriend or anything like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I can totally relate to that. Thanks for sharing. Because when you say all those things, a lot of images pop up in my head, and I'm like, oh yeah, oh no, I'm still like that. And
yeah, of course,
it makes sense. What you're saying in my world. Yeah. I can also share how I personally feel like I am balanced in my first chakra. I don't know what exactly it is, but I for sure feel like I'm not really, really strong in that either in some way, because I think that's what it is. My parents and me are super different. I'm super sensitive and emotional, and I want to talk about all this stuff and talk and feel. And like, I love emotions and psychology and everything. And they're just, my dad is very into prestige and material stuff. My mom is more like, that's how it is, as if she's none. I mean, they're lovely and amazing, how all the parents are that we have, and in their ways. And but I always felt, like I'm weird, I'm difficult, and I didn't know how to handle myself because I was so different, and pushed a lot of feelings to the side, and there was a lot of anger and stuff like that.
Maybe you also didn't feel like accepted as you are, and therefore you felt no acceptance, meaning you didn't feel like you're enough, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely, because I feel like through the childhood time, in the concept of the family, when you grow up, you just have to survive. Like, you're just dependent on your parents in order to survive. And as for me, it was like that. As soon as I left home, I realized who I want to be, who I can be, and I think it's probably pretty natural to grow out of the values of your parents and make your own. And I realized why I was like this and why I want to be different. So I feel like in order to feel safe and to give myself a base in that concept in my parents' home, I did a lot of stuff to be good. I did my homework. I did train all the time. I went to sports because it was super important, and for my dad at least. If I would sit a lot and watch TV, I think there was a couple of times where he would say, you get fat when you keep sitting there like this. And I was very focusing on outside appearance of my image. I wanted to be beautiful. I wanted to be very popular. I wanted to be part of the group. As soon as I didn't feel like, oh my God, this person didn't say hi to me in school, I was super, super scared that I wouldn't be popular enough. Like, I had to be popular in order to feel safe. And that was so much stress. Plus, I also, when I was a teenager, I also did have problems with food, and wasn't eating enough, or was even what's that? If you vomit, I was doing that for a while as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but just only couple of months, weeks. It wasn't for a long time.
Okay.
It wasn't very, thank God, serious or something like that. But I had oh my God, I was so stressed. I was thinking, oh God, when I get older, it's not going to get better with my body. Oh shit, it's going to be so hard to get old and to have a different metabolism and probably be bigger than now. And I'm so happy that my mindset is changing. So I'm okay with getting older. Plus, I'm not bigger. I'm happy and I'm fine. It's all good. Jesus. But yeah, that was super important for me in order to feel safe. And that was a huge compensation for me to nourish my Muladhara, my first chakra, and the holes that were not filled up from the inside or from the beginning of my childhood. So I would feel safe. And it was a lot of taking stuff from the outside stressfully and trying to make it all feel nice and juicy.
I feel like what you're explaining, that you didn't feel accepted, like, or that I feel like that you didn't feel enough.
Yeah.
Makes more sense, that you wanted to fill that up with things, and then because it's so deep down, it went also in your solar plexus.
Very much. I also had problems with my bladder when I was a child. I always had to pee, so I think there was a lot of anger pushed down in my bladder because I wasn't allowed to express my feelings because it stressed my parents a lot, I guess. Or I just didn't do it because as a child, you always try to make your parents happy. I think I always tried to push my emotions to the side. And when I was 10, they even had to make a big operation, surgery on me, and get off a piece of my gallbladder. And the gallbladder is also connected to anger. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's so crazy how that all. It's interesting because I have also, and that's I never thought of it that way, but I guess it's also connected to that. So I have like skin issues a lot, and while that is also like from the interesting thing about all of this is that it's not only you that is affected, it's also generations and generations after you, because
before me,
you bring your energetic makeover basically. You give that to your child as well. Like your child has some energies from my parents, so I bring a lot of like drama also from my families and from their history into my body, right? And I got some like skin conditions, what's it called? I can't think of it right now, but an autoimmune disease. And autoimmune disease are very deep down as well. And they
root chakra topics.
Yeah, they are.
Because the immune system is also like a basic need.
Yes.
That your immune system has to be stable in order to survive in the world. Yeah. And if you have problems with that, then there's something going on at the base of your chakras.
Totally. So it all makes. I knew all of this, but I haven't put the pieces together right now. So I'm just right now realizing that it all comes back to the root chakra. And so what do you do for balancing it out? Because or maybe can we just, for somebody listening who doesn't really have any information or didn't hear about the root chakra yet before the Muladhara Chakra, I just want to make it clear that it can go outward or inward, right?
Yeah.
You said, Alex and we were talking before about that, and you explained it so well. Could you explain it again?
Yeah, I'd love to. So when the energy in the Muladhara and the first chakra is turning and moving and working inward, and it's working inside of the body, and physically you can feel that if you stand, that you stand with narrow feet, they're really close together, and you don't have a lot of space. You just have this little tiny space where you stand on, which is not a lot, not really grounding, not really helping. You can fall off from it really quickly. You don't feel so big. You feel tiny, and everything goes inward, and the energy goes out of your legs a lot. Your legs can be, and usually are, like the roots of the base chakra. They can help you root, and the roots get lose their power when the energy goes really, really, really inward, and you tend to feel panic, fear, anxiety. And also your head is not really logical, it's emotional and panicking. That's kind of how it feels when the energy goes really only inward. It can be balanced out, inward and outward. And then you feel like the every chakra has a mantra. You just feel like, I am.
Mm-hmm.
I am. I'm here. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm healthy. And you just are relaxed. You know, you can run like this when something happens, but you also know you can relax, and you don't have to fear anything. It's a relaxed and powerful, nice state of being. And if the energy is only moving outward of your body, you are, also when it's inward, you can barely move. You're like maybe like this. You can, you're frozen.
It's like when you have an
you
anxiety
run
attack.
Away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe you want to hide somewhere and get small because you can't stand really well and stuff, something like that. So yeah, if it goes outward, you're standing really wide and you make yourself big, and the energy goes vroom, really, really across, away from you, and you symbolize, this is my area, this is my space, and you stand in for yourself a little bit too much. Maybe you're ready to fight, you're ready to run away. It's very animalic, like an animal.
I don't know. Yeah.
Animalistisch. Animalisch.
Yeah, animalistic. I don't know, but yeah.
Animals, it's
instinct.
Also the root chakra, every animal has that chakra.
Yeah.
Instinctive. It's, I'm taking care of my babies, nobody can get my babies.
Very protective.
Very protective.
Yeah.
And strong, maybe aggressive, but you are maybe you can even think, you're really angry and you're over with, like, the power is going out of your head and you're like just like this.
Yes.
That's the survival mode. These are the three ways of the chakra, how it can, I mean, there's lots of nuances, like everything in life is not only black or white, but it has different shades. But these three kinds are the kinds we can use as a chart to check where we are, maybe.
Totally. And it's, as you say, it's always fluctuating. And I think being in balance doesn't mean you're stagnant. It means that it's moving and that you adapt to whatever circumstance you are in front of. Like that you, as you said, like when you are safe and you're in your home, that you can actually just sit back and relax and just be. But then when something comes up, that you are able to stand up for yourself if somebody's saying something that you don't agree on, or if you want to protect yourself or somebody else, that you are able to stand up for yourself or somebody else and be there and maybe even fight. But it's like being really authentic, right? It's like being authentic with what is and to yourself, and being able to embody that. And that's what I would say is like being in balance in this chakra.
Like my goal is, if somebody says, well, Alex, that's not smart of you, that I'm not like, oh my God, yeah, he's right, that wasn't really smart of me. Or like, what? How could you talk to me like that? Look at your stuff that you're doing. Like, I just want to be like, that's what do you think?
Exactly.
I just want to be and be rooted. And
and it doesn't affect you if it's not something that is gonna hurt you, like actually hurt you, right?
Yeah.
But it's not, you don't give your power away, what we were talking about before, like you don't give your power away. So yeah, let's maybe, for anyone who can like resonate with anything that we were talking about of imbalances or whatever, if you feel anything in yourself or know yourself that you might be in imbalance, there are some ways to get back in balance. Like, it's actually not really hard. There are easy, simple practices that you can do every day to ground yourself if you're out of balance in either way, right?
So what do you do? Because you kind of told us where you're coming from, and now you're a 28-year-old woman